More than 200 million Americans play video games in the US alone. That means roughly 65% of American adults are gamers. It gets bigger than that. What do you play? According to Statista, Latin America has 274 million gamers. The Middle East/Africa have 388 million, and Europe has 391 million. The largest gaming audience is in Asia, though, with 1.5 billion gamers. That means that worldwide, the number of gamers in the world as of 2020 was roughly 2.77 billion. And that's just 2020, so that's that is catapulted to even larger numbers. Now, what does any of these numbers tell us? That either we really love games or we're really good on being sold something. Is the market for games a major grift in how much we end up spending on it, or is it a gift for what it gives us? In 2016, the value of the US gaming market alone was $17.68 billion. Now, how could the market for video games be this high? In addition to a lot of other factors, I think the main core reason that the gaming market has stayed thriving is first-person shooter games, and the factor that comes with that, microtransactions. We all know microtransactions is the dirtiest word when it comes to talking about video games. We all hate it. We all say we hate it. We all whine and complain about it when it happens, but we still play those games. Why is that? Matt Piscatella, executive producer of video games at Circana, said in an interview, "The industry has really moved to more of what they call a battle pass system, or some kind of packaging of seasonal content. Those systems have found much warmer response because I think people are finding that they're getting more value and more reliable value for their money." Now, it's fairly easy for him to say that given he's getting the bulk of the buck from your pocket change, but what is the reason for our obsession with these games, with first-person shooters? The first-person shooter has a long and storied history as one of our oldest gaming genres, but where did this burgeoning style of game really begin? Was it Wolfenstein? Was it Doom? Was it Call of Duty? According to the PC Magazine, historians agree that the first real attempt at a first-person shooter came in 1973 with Maze War for the ENIAC PDS-1 computers installed at the NASA Ames Research Center. Steve Colley was the first credited developer, and in the game, multiple users could walk through a 3D maze one tile at a time, shooting other players represented as eyeballs on sight. It was clunky, but nothing like it had ever been tried. While Maze War was the first FPS attempted, I don't believe on my part that it was the first success, but it is definitely deserving of its credit in pushing us closer to where we are now. The first successful FPS for my money is Mini Maze, released for the Atari ST by Hybrid Arts in 1987. It puts players in the role of a Pac-Man-like orb in a right-angled maze, able to move in any direction and shoot deadly bubbles at other packs. The mass appeal with Mini Maze was its insane networking ability, in that you could communicate with up to 16 players through this game. So even back in 1987, the FPS was a major source of gaming community. As time passed, we were gifted with these major pillars of FPS history like Wolfenstein 3D, Doom, and the ensuing Doom clones. Now in 2024, with having the genre for over 2 decades, there's a lot more to it than a smiley shooty face in a cavern. A big part of gaming culture has become live streaming. A lot of major streamers on Twitch and YouTube have made their bank on the back of games like Overwatch, Fortnite, and the Call of Duty games. Now, where do I fit into all of this? Growing up, I was not a huge fan of the first-person shooter beyond Medal of Honor, which I played with my dad and my 3 brothers when my mom was on a Navy mission overseas. So why does this massive genre of games appeal to most but not appeal to me? I think that with time, studios get lazy, phone in a game or two. I mean, how many modern warfares can we have before it's not modern anymore?
You can't keep getting away with it! You can't keep getting away with it!
I would always say when asked by friends if I wanted to play Fortnite or something or other that I wasn't a fan of first-person shooters because I was never into the COD games and I didn't have a taste for the looter shooters of Fortnite and Overwatch. It just didn't have the gameplay or story appeal that I had come to find in the games that I love. But then I remembered. My favorite game on the GameCube for as long as I could remember was Metroid Prime. And that is an FPS. So why Metroid Prime and not Call of Duty is probably what you're asking. I think my love of Metroid hits at the heart of what I want and what I need out of FPS games. I need some good level progression, I need some palpable atmosphere, and I need some, freaking good bosses, man. Because Prime really does have some amazing bosses behind it. Now, this is not to say that shooter games based on live service and playing with your friends is no good, because I'm not saying that at all. But I do think that with FPS games, we shouldn't be getting lazy with this, because it isn't some trash genre. And the love of the craft should bleed through all the stupid skins and battle passes. The game design should be able to breathe more than we line Phil Spencer's pocket. Because the reality is, I don't hate shooter games. I hate boring games. I love games like Dead Space, Metroid Prime, Doom, and all its ensuing sequels. I really love Wolfenstein. I really love GoldenEye. I love the classic Medal of Honor games too. What I'm asking for is less lazy games, and that we expect more from games, because the first-person shooter genre has so much potential, guys. It really does. It's not some fast food genre of games. It has massive potential to be one of the best experiences you could ever have. And I'm sure there's a game that I've missed that is doing that. Because the fun of shooter games is there's always more to discover. And we do that best when we're together, because this genre is all about the communal experience of playing games. So tell me, what do you play?
Stop playing around.